God bless you today. It's a beautiful day here in eastern Michigan. Sun shining, and I thought I would read a portion here from John, the 15th chapter, where Jesus talks about being a vine and we are like branches connected to him. He says in John 15, verse 1, and I'm reading from the Phillips paraphrase, I am the real vine, my Father is the vine dresser. He removes any branches which are not bearing fruit, and he prunes every branch that does bear fruit to increase its yield. Now you have already been pruned by my words. You must go on growing in me, and I will grow in you. For just as the branch cannot bear any fruit unless it shares in the life of the vine, so you can produce nothing unless you go on growing in me. I am the vine itself, you are the branches. It is the man who shares my life and whose life I share who proves fruitful. For the plain fact is that apart from me, you can do nothing at all. The man who does not share my life is like a branch that's broken off and withers away. He becomes just like dry sticks that men pick up and use for firewood. But if you live your life in me and my words live in your hearts, you can ask whatever you like and it will come true for you. This is how my Father will be glorified in your becoming fruitful and being my disciples. There's so much that's going on in that passage there. It reminds me of just the other day I saw some branches in my backyard, and it's not unusual. I have a lot of trees, and what I tend to do is when I see them just laying around, I just gather them and throw them on this pile in the back of my yard, and eventually I'll have a little fire in my backyard and sit around and drink some coffee and enjoy the moment. But they're no good. They're no good because they have fallen to the ground. They've obviously become disconnected from the tree. We know they're dead. And I thought, they were a little long, I'll just snap them and make them, the right size for the fire. And I just snapped them and snapped them again because they were clearly dead. When the branches are not connected, not attached, not living in the tree itself, when they are separated, when they are cut off, or as it says, deliberately pruned, there's no chance of the life or life source of getting to those exterior branches on the periphery. The water comes up, obviously, from the ground through the base and the rootage up into the tree, out to the far branches on the fringes. Jesus is, think about that. That's the way you are with me. You have to be connected. You have to be abiding. That's the word that's used in many translations. In me, which is to live. You have to dwell in me. You have to live in me. You have to be attached to me. You have to have my words living in you. I really like that expression. I came across that in this reading this morning. My words live in your hearts. If you live your life in me and my words live in your hearts, then you're going to produce much fruit. What is producing the fruit? Producing the fruit means doing that which God would have us do. And we think it's the big spectacular thing. It's not necessarily the big spectacular thing at all. It's living the life that God would have us live. But you see, you'll never know that life unless you're connected to the vine. The vine is Christ. The vine isn't religion. The vine isn't the church. The church is the collection of the saints, the collection of the branches, so to speak. But the actual vine, the source of life, is Jesus himself. I am the way, the truth, and the life, says Jesus. That's what Jesus said. I am the life, capital L. I am the way to heaven, to the Father himself. I am the truth. I am truth embodied in a person, the divine person, 100% God, 100% man. I am the truth. I am the true understanding to all things. My words are more than just words on paper. That's the thing that struck me, I guess, when I read that one portion there about my words living in your hearts. The Bible is a living book. There's just no doubt about it. Anyone who knows anything about the scripture really has a sense of what it's about, understands that this book is more than a book. And the words we hear coming from the mouth of Jesus Christ are more than just man's words. The Spirit of God reveals this to us. We know this. And if I'm wandering around again and I have no real life in me, I'm busy being busy, I'm busy going about my daily activities, whatever it might be, but I don't have that something, that I don't know what it is, but I don't have it. That something is Him. I'm disconnected. I'm not a part of Him. Life is in Jesus Christ. Life is always in Jesus Christ. I can say that to a follower of Jesus. I can say that to someone who hasn't come to Him and given their life to Him. Life is always in Jesus. And I can be, again, a part of the whole vine system. But again, if I'm not receiving that life, if I haven't initially been connected to that life, if I'm not a part of Him, then I'm just a dead whatever. But if I am a part of that vine system, and I am receiving my life from Him, then I will, out of His power and His nutrients, if you will, produce that which He would have me produce. Apart from Jesus, apart from Him, He says, in no uncertain terms, you can do nothing. Which is to say, you will do nothing that will ultimately please God. You may put on a big show in front of other people. You may look very spiritual. You may be involved in many activities and do many good deeds, support various charities, be kind to people. But you will do nothing in terms of God's perfect will for your life if you are not living in Him. Jesus says again, abide in me, dwell in me, and I in you. Let me live in you. Let my words reside in you. Just as, again, the branches can't bear any fruit unless that life is in them, so you can produce nothing unless you go on growing in me. Grow, stay close to Him, and when there's, again, sin in our lives, when we know we're doing that which displeases God, there is a break in the flow of the life of God into our spirits. It's as though we're just strangling ourselves. We're preventing the flow of the life of God in us. And Jesus says, again, let my words sink into you. Follow them. Turn away from that which you know is wrong and disobedient, and turn to me. Pick up that book again, the one and only book. Pick up that book. Read my words. Don't be so consumed with reading many words, reading many chapters at a time, trying to rush through the Bible. But open the book to where you believe God would have you read, and let my words, and of course we find most of Jesus' actual words that we have on record in the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Read his actual words if need be, and let those words sink into you. I would encourage you to, just by the way, to pick up a New Testament, pick up a Bible, and read through John. Get a modern translation if you can. Go online and order one. It's super easy. And English Standard Version, New International Version, New Living Translation. There are various translations that are very helpful, and some are more paraphrases. This is a paraphrase here that I'm working with. But stick with the actual readings of the scriptures, and just pour over those things slowly. Open up John's Gospel and begin to read it slowly. And let the words of Christ live in you. The Bible is alive. It's living and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the division of soul and spirit, of joints and marrow, discerning the thoughts and intentions of the heart, says the author to the Hebrews. It is living. Let him live in you, and you live in him. Let that peace be in your life. God bless you today. I ask that you would just like or subscribe if you haven't already, and give me any comments that you might have. Blessings to you.